someone should have thrown something on Danladi at that point. Our officials need to learn to fear us.
It shows that we don't even have trust in the judicial system anymore. If a judge, this is the law that you're supposed to be using to fight, but it is the law that is fighting you. Danladi is supposed to be the law. He's fighting you. The police officers who came in there are the law. And they weren't doing anything. So when the people lose confidence in the law, what do you expect them to do? To take up arms and defend themselves.
Welcome to episode 4 of Reactions. My name is Mr. Sal. Joining me today, as always, are my very good friends, Mr. Henry Oqua.
Hello.
And Mr. Houston Nwachukwu. How are you guys doing?
Very fine, thank you, Sal.
Henry Oqua, how's your week been?
So I took the COVID-19 vaccine.
Oh, wow, you did?
Yeah, and some days later, I saw the side effects. I think after surviving COVID, I did not care what the temporary side effects of the vaccine would be. So I just went in, took it, and before I knew what was happening, there was fatigue, there was headache. In fact, there was headache for 2 days straight.
Oh, wow.
But now I'm much better, sharp.
At least I know somebody that's taking the vaccine. I don't know anybody.
I think we should all get
so that's your
vaccinated.
first jab, yeah?
Yes, that's my first jab. The next one is in 3 months.
3 months?
So that'll be in June, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But you feel good now?
Yes, I feel good.
Mr. Houston, how was your week, or how is your Good Friday going?
My Good Friday's going well, thank God. I didn't get a chance to go to church, but then I have an evening program I'm expected to attend.
Today?
Hopefully. Yeah.
Oh, then you'll be going to church for Easter Sunday, though?
Yeah, definitely. I should go to church.
Do you mean evening program or evening party? Which one?
No, that's not for our consumption.
Okay.
All right, let's get straight to the topics we're going to be reacting to today. I'm just going to get straight to our first topic. So on Tuesday, the chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, Justice Danladi Umar, was caught on camera assaulting a security guard at Banex Plaza in Abuja. I don't know if you guys have seen the video. Did you guys watch the video? Yeah, so the video is actually on Sahara Reporter's YouTube page. So the chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal was caught on camera. I watched it. He was assaulting the security guard. It was a lot of chaos that happened there. And when I saw the video, I was wondering what he was actually doing at Banex Plaza. Because he's a very privileged person that could send any aid, especially when you don't have the best temperament, so you could avoid stuff like this from happening, because as human beings, I know we're not perfect, but for somebody that holds such a very high office, to be caught displaying wherever he was displaying there was a lot of chaos then, and the people at Banex Plaza had to start attacking him at some point, because they were not happy. I think one of his aides slapped the security guard as well. Then I saw him like kicking the guy, according to the video that I saw. So this is the first part of what unfolded. So I would like us to react to this bit right now, because it's starting to become a little bit of a pattern. I think last year or so, there was a senator that was caught on videos slapping or assaulting a salesperson. And this lawmaker is still in office. He has not left. He could not resign honorably, and he could not be fired or recalled back by his constituents. So there's this pattern of behavior that is going on right now with our appointed officials, assaulting or just exhibiting some very bad behaviors in public. I don't know what you think about that bit. I just want us to react to this bit of him assaulting, then I'll get to the next part. Henry Oqua, if you want to go first.
Well, Danladi's behavior is not unusual in our society. There's already the belief in a lot of people that those of us who are not in elective positions are second-class citizens to those who are. Do you understand? Basically, in Nigeria, the fact that you have I don't want to just say money, but means that every other person around you is less than you, and you feel like, okay, they don't have any right to live, or they don't have, if you see what was happening, it was as if Danladi was irritated at the fact that the security guard was talking to him. The body language, we couldn't hear what they were saying, but you could tell that he was like, the gesture that Danladi was using is a familiar gesture in the north. You understand? I think they also use it in the south. That's twisting of the hand, like, do you understand?
Yeah,
like,
too low.
Do you understand?
Class.
So I think that what happened was just one day that camera was catching the typical Nigerian society. You understand? Was filming the typical Nigerian society, and that came up. We see it everywhere. We see it every day.
The fact that we see it everywhere, or that's the normal thing that happens every day, does that make that okay? Should there be consequences for these actions? Because these guys, these rich people, or whoever we want to term them as, or government officials, tend to get away with these behaviors. Is that normal? Or should we really accept it as normal? That's the way the society is, and so should it be?
So I believe strongly that part of what this platform is aimed at doing is to help Nigerians, if possible, think differently, or help them try to answer some of the difficult questions for themselves. Now, Danladi's behavior is a symptom. That behavior across society are just symptoms of a larger problem. Do you understand? Now, in Nigeria, because we have so enshrined the fact that your rights don't matter, do you understand? It's across board. We will have to look at it holistically. Should we treat human beings with dignity or not? Do you understand? Nigerians, we don't treat anything with dignity. We don't think, not even anyone. You understand? So those people are representatives of our society, those ones that are in public office. Now, whether what Umar has done is definitely condemnable. Definitely condemnable. I don't know why a public official will not be able to hold himself. And it's not just a public official. You are a judge.
Yes.
You are a judge. Judges are the ones who are held at the highest level of reverence in a society. You understand? You hold people's lives and livelihood in your hands. As a judge, you should have more restraint. You should be able to, well, anyway. Danladi has been disappointing me for a while. So,
all right, Mr. Houston, what's your reaction to the whole debacle that happened? The assault, the putting himself in a position where he had to even start getting attacked by the people in Banex Plaza. Yeah.
First of all, I'll say the CCT Code of Conduct Tribunal.
Yes.
Is it director?
No,
Chairman.
Yeah. Code of Conduct Tribunal chairman has actually committed a faux pas. And that's like,
committed what?
It's committed a faux pas. That's a blunder. So what he did was completely wrong. And well, clearly in this country we live in Nigeria right now, I think Nigeria is actually reduced to three categories of people. We have Nigerians in diaspora, Nigerians in government, and Nigerians. That's what we have. So you are you either fall in one of this category. We don't have poor Nigerians and rich Nigerians anymore, because basically what we see now in Nigeria is, it's either you're talking about Nigeria from outside the country, you're in government, which of course demonstrates power, or you're not in government at all. Because if you will see somebody who is, you were human, you were normal, you were a civilian before you got into, you're still a civilian for crying out loud. You're just by means of providence or something. Because I wouldn't say hard work got you into that place. If hard work got you into that place, then you know what it means to be at a very humble position, like the security guard. This is a security guard. If anybody went to his compound and starts fighting with the security guard, how would he accept it? Some people will say in pidgin English, they'll call you GM. They say he's the GM, now he be GM, which is the general manager of the gates man. That's what he is. So if he says do not park here, I think you should respect that. He has his reasons why he's saying do not park here. It could be it could be a handicapped parking place. It could be a place for people with disabilities. It could be a reserved parking space for maybe the owner of the plaza. It could be something, and you have to respect that. So for you to come in there and exercise government power as a judge, as somebody who should be fighting for that, humble personality, you should be fighting for that man. Instead, you're fighting with him. I think it's completely unacceptable. It is completely unacceptable, and there should be consequences for things like this when people in public positions, people with public office come out and try to do things like this, like oppress people without people that are not in government. Because basically, what he demonstrated was superiority of his position. He wasn't seen as, just like the security guard was seen as the security guard. If he came out anywhere to defend himself, he would say, I am the security guard. What will Danladi call himself? He will say he's the chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, and that is why that shouldn't be met. That's why such directive shouldn't be given to him by the security guard, which by every law doesn't, I mean, that is not his jurisdiction. That's the security guard's jurisdiction. So there should be penalties for things like this. I think the government ought to hold him accountable for this.
Okay, hold him accountable how?
And not just him, every other public office holder who abuses power, because that's abuse of power, basically.
Do you think he needs to be fired?
I think he needs to be fired.
Okay.
No, before firing, you have to bring charges up against.
Yeah,
the
charge
of assault.
Yeah, the different
bring
things.
up the charge of
Also, he needs to compensate the security guard. You know why? Because he has set a very, very bad precedent. Now, anybody in government who goes into any other place, and this thing is happening like this right now, everyone is looking at it as something that happened only in Banes and Wusetu and all that. But you know the funny thing? Anywhere you see a security guard now, this is a message to every security guard in Nigeria, wherever you are, that a government official can overstep his jurisdiction and tell you what to do and fight you and question you in your own jurisdiction as a security guard. So I think it shouldn't be acceptable. It shouldn't be accepted by anybody.
Okay, like Henry Oqua was saying, like the security guard can sue just in case he doesn't know. But we saw a case before where the lady actually sued and there was a judgment given in her favor. But how do you implement that judgment? Still considering the fact that we are dealing with people with power. You know, so there are remedies, there are actions, there are steps people could take. But how do we see through with those actions with the kind of society that we have in right now? Because that other guy is still in office, this one is still in office as well. Yeah. Anyway, the social media was already in uproar, you know, then they had to release a statement. And this statement caused another wahala. I think this one made the situation even worse.
Yep.
So they released a very long statement, but I'm not going to read through everything. I'm just going to read this part. So the statement reads here, the policeman seen in the video, talking about the video clip that went viral. They wrote this video clip. Okay. We were talking about this earlier, yeah?
Yeah.
And as a publisher, I go through this every day. I get press releases from government offices, even from the presidency. And the way some of those statements are written are a disgrace, to be honest. You know, we can do better. This statement that came from the office of the CCT chairman was a disgrace. Video clip here was spelled CLIFF.
Like Jimmy Cliff.
Like, this was really horrible. And this was not even the only blunder. Like, this was really bad. But I'm just going to read. I'm not going to pay attention to the blunders here. So the statement says, the policemen seen in the video clip, yeah, were not the chairman's police team. They were policemen operating around the plaza whom at first instance intervened before the arrival of police team from Maitama police station. As the few policemen in the complex were apparently overwhelmed by the mobs consisting of Biafran boys.
In caps.
This was another problem. I think this was the biggest issue that came out from this statement. And when you read through this whole statement, they kept writing the Biafran in full capital letter, so you could tell that it was not a mistake. From the first point they wrote Biafran boys. The Biafran is in all caps. So this was very intentional. So I don't know the intention of the writer of this statement, trying to stir something ethnic here and moving from the altercation or the assault that actually happened. So I'm just going to go on here. So it says, as the few policemen in the complex were apparently overwhelmed by the mobs, consisting of Biafran boys, throwing supposed to write machetes, but they wrote matches. You know, I just have to put these things out there, and I'm not trying to shame them. You know, and shape objects. It's
Really
supposed to be
sharp
sharp objects. You're writing shape. What shape? So it's car.
I won't be surprised if Danladi actually issued this statement himself and then put an alias behind it.
Yeah, but let me go though.
Surprised,
So which led to the deep cut and dislocation in one of his finger, meaning the chairman's finger, causing damage to his car, smashing his windscreen because the people had got upset at that point in time and they were reacting. So he said at a point he attempted to leave the scene. These same miscreants. At this point, I have to stop. So they write miscreants here and they go on to say Biafran boys again, ordered for the closure of the gates. What do you think he was trying to establish here by mentioning Biafran boys as the people who were retaliating? Because they were actually retaliating to the oppression they faced. They saw clearly the oppression that you guys just talked about that happened there. And these are the youths now very smart, saying no to some bad behaviors that have gone on in this country for a very long time, but they are going on about it the way they know how to go about it, which is violence for violence, which is not still correct. But this guy went on here in his statement writing Biafran boys, Biafran boys. What do you think was his intention with his statement?
I think I'll be pointing out the obvious, but it is what it is, isn't it? Nigeria has been divided along those lines. Do you understand? And it started from the 97%
along which
those
lines?
ethnic lines,
Yep.
you know, and that was made worse by the 95% and 5% rhetoric of the president when he got into office.
Okay.
You understand? Now, a lot about leadership is not going place to place to tell people this is how to behave. The people look to their leaders' body language and speech and actions to know how to behave. This is the same country, the same administration that Danladi is part of, that a certain group of people have been saying we are marginalized, we are not being carried along, and the rhetoric from the leadership has been, who is marginalizing you? Do you understand? It's like someone telling you that I don't have enough representation at the table, and you're saying who is stopping you from having representation at the table. Meanwhile, you are the one who is responsible for bringing people to the table. You understand? So I feel like to a large extent that Danladi is echoing the conversations or the thinking of the people in his circle. It is one thing for an aide to write a statement for a government official. It is another thing for the government official to read that statement. It is another thing for that government official to release that statement to the news media. I first got that statement like a few minutes after it dropped, because I belong to this group of journalists where they drop statements very quickly so that people can carry and do their news from. And I was shocked. You understand that this is coming from the CCT. You get? I think from how they are even ranked, so the CCT should be at the same level with the appeal court also. Do you understand? This is somebody who during the whole Saraki trial and whatnot, we were in the CCT to see how things were being run, and you could tell that what happened at Banex is part and parcel of Danladi's personality. Do you understand? Banex I'm sure he didn't think that there'll be a camera. Yeah. Do you understand? When it started,
somebody watching upstairs.
You understand? So I feel like when it started, he did not think, oh, there may be a camera here. And at the end of the day, you see the action in the video, and then the statement that comes out to back it up. It shows you the thinking of
because
the
using
person.
The word miscreants. Like he didn't take any responsibility that he had done anything wrong. Mr. Houston, Biafran boys, miscreant. First of all, how did he know that they were Biafrans? How did he know that they were Igbos?
I'm not even going to sugarcoat this. I'll say it as it is. It is obvious that the Banex, is a place that is that has predominance. That's made up of predominantly Igbo people, the Igbo extraction, people from the east, southeast, and as we know, these people are business-like people. They are very, very inclined to their business, and they do not joke with security. So, if he calls them a miscreant, then he's wrong calling them a miscreant. If he calls them Biafran boys, he's only exuding what they say in private, the kind of conversations they have behind closed doors. I mean, him and his ilk, him and his people. And if he's angry, or if his aide is angry or dissatisfied with the fact that the people came out to support the security guard, well, it shouldn't be strange to him that there are people who protect their business as much as they will protect anything. So these people are a group of people that are usually very protective about their business. You wouldn't go to. I grew up in Port Harcourt. In Port Harcourt, even till this day, tax force do not barge into the bureau de change because they know the people who handle that aspect of business. When they go there, they ask for their representative. The representative come out, they take their task and their tax money and walk away. They don't go in there because sometime they go way back in between 2012 2011. I remember sometime they had a very serious altercation there between the people who were changing money and the task force. So this is these people's business, and they care about security just as much as Danladi will care about security at the CCT. And people, you find somebody accost their security and starts causing trouble. What do you expect them to do? If it's too much for the security, the people come out to protect their business.
But do you think it was right for him to refer to the people there as Biafran boys?
So if he says, if he refers to them as Biafran boys, it is wrong because he's beginning to play the ethnic card, and we know when they play this ethnic card, we know what it is like. I'm saying they, I mean dissatisfied Nigerians in different parts of the country, because I wouldn't just blame the North with this. Even in the South, sometimes when they see one person who comes from the North, they don't care if it's the middle belt, so long as your name comes with, your name looks Islamic, they attribute you or whatever it is you're doing to people from the North. So it is just like Henry said, Nigeria has been cut across ethnic lines. So people always look for an easy way out, and when they look for an easy way out, especially our politicians, especially people who have public offices, when they start looking for an easy way out, I think it's easy for them to just tag a group of people as something. Now, even if he was going to tag these people, if you say the Southeast boys or boys from the Southeast, because we all know in Abuja that these people are the most dominant set of people in this area, it will have made a lot of sense and it will be very professional on this part. But as somebody who represents the Nigerian legal system, coming out to represent, to tag these people as Biafran boys, so it only shows, it portrays what the kind of conversations and how these people are being tagged within their meetings and whatever it is behind closed doors, how they see these people. So they don't see them as Nigerians, they see them as Biafrans. And using such word is actually a very powerful thing. This conversation doesn't have to end here. It's something that has to go beyond here, because the Code of Conduct Tribunal chairman has actually erred. He has seriously committed a huge blunder by calling a group of Nigerians. This means he doesn't see them as himself. This means he doesn't see them as Nigerians. That being said, you also call them miscreants. So you consider a particular ethnic extraction in this country as Biafran boys. And if you consider them Biafran boys, you also consider them miscreants. Because from all of the statements, everything you've read, I didn't hear of a place where they seized his phone. I didn't hear of a place where they punctured his tire. I didn't hear of a place where they took his car keys or anything.
The true sharp objects inside his car. Injured his hand.
Okay, the true sharp object inside the car.
Yeah, after he had assaulted.
Okay, that's in defending themselves after he had already assaulted them. So, I mean, it's simple.
Yeah. Henry, I want to ask you this question.
Sorry, just before you go, there's something I want to add to this. Yeah, I think we should stop being cowardly. And when I say we, I mean all of us who are young people in Nigeria. You see a lot of these things happen, and people get away with them. It is either the police doing it, or some big man somewhere, or in this case, Danladi. What are the onlookers doing? Do you understand? We should get these people to understand that you hurt one of us, you hurt all of us. Do you understand?
I think we're getting wise as well, because it's somebody that took up. If someone did not record this, we could have not known.
I'm happy that someone recorded it, but someone should have thrown something on Danladi at that point. I'm not joking.
All right,
no. Okay. Let me explain. Let me explain what I mean. Let me explain what I mean.
Ways to go about it.
If the police had not held Danladi back, supposing you saw the video, you saw that security guard at one point was kneeling down and begging, and Danladi was throwing his kicks. And at one point, a slap landed before the security guard stood up and moved back. If the police and the people there had not held Danladi back, what would Danladi have done? What would every other police?
I agree.
What I'm saying, sir, what I'm saying is our officials need to learn to fear us. The only way they will learn to fear us is when we do not leave that person who is being oppressed to the mercy of his oppressors.
Do you know why? Do you know why I agree with him?
The person. If they are tied.
I wanted to ask you a question, though.
Please, sorry. One before we continue, why I would agree with what he's saying is, I do not prefer.
Exactly.
I'm agreeing with the fact that the people in Nigeria will have to defend themselves, not just against criminals, but even against political office holders, if they come off as threatening to the people. And I'll tell you why. When he said this, I thought he was advocating for violence, but I was going to say that there are legal ways to go about this, but that is the law, that is the legal way fighting you now. This is somebody from the code of court, this is a judge. So it shows that we don't even have trust in the judicial system anymore. If a judge, this is the law that you're supposed to be using to fight, but it is the law that is fighting you. Danladi is supposed to be the law, he's fighting you. The police officers who came in there are the law, and they weren't doing anything. So when the people lose confidence in the law, what do you expect them to do? To take up arms and defend themselves?
So moving on. You guys heard about the whole Governor Wike thing, So the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, made a pledge to support or to gift the artists that came to perform at Burna Boy's homecoming concert in the state. So after Burna Boy won a Grammy award, all Wike could do was to do a homecoming concert for him. That was a problem for me already, So he did not just do a concert where he spent a lot of money. He also promised to give each artist, all the artists that performed, I don't have the total numbers, 10 million naira each. And on Wednesday, the Rivers State Commissioner for the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, Tonye Briggs, in a statement revealed that the governor's pronouncement has been carried out. And this is after the social media backlash, because there's a lot of social media conversation when it was announced that Governor Wike was going to be giving all the artists 10 million. There was the talk of him not paying workers' salaries, which is not just very relevant to me. The fact that he's even giving any money is even a problem for me. The statement reads, the Rivers State government has made good its promise to give 10 million naira to each of the performing artists who participated in the Burna Boy homecoming state reception concert in Port Harcourt last Saturday. The accounts of the beneficiaries have been credited as directed by the governor. And as you know, the governor is a man of his word, and he has redeemed his pledge. This is what the statement. I'm like, what kind of statement is this? So, what do we think about this culture? Because it has become a culture right now. You see people go to Big Brother Nigeria, even the winners that have won millions, tens of millions of naira. They go back to their states, they have this grand reception, they have cash donations, land donations, not by private individuals, but by the government, by the governors, giving 10 million naira each, aside the money that you spent to do concert, and the state is still lacking in some areas. They are saying you have not paid teacher's salary. All the roads have not been sorted out in Port Harcourt or in Rivers State. Everywhere has not been developed. Where is he getting this money to give out, and why do we have this culture? Do you support this kind of culture? Because Burna Boy already has money. These artists already have money. What?
I'll wait into this.
Okay, go on.
Firstly, when people talk Port Harcourt, most times talk River State, they get very passionate about it because
but it doesn't just have to be River State. It could be Ogun State. I don't care what.
No, with this particular thing, it's River State and it's where I come from. So I will not talk. I won't talk because I'm attached to the state. I'll talk because I'm very aware about things, about the happenings in the state. Firstly, I see nothing wrong in celebrating accomplishment. If you ask me, I see nothing wrong in celebrating accomplishment. It could be accomplishments in sports, entertainment. If it's being celebrated, I see nothing wrong. Secondly, River State, if you know River State very well, River State is a state that, if I ask you right now, which state has the most restive set of people, or which state is undergoing the most problematic times right now with cultism and the rest of them in the south, you will definitely see Port Harcourt, River State. Everybody points Port Harcourt. It is almost the Burna of the south right now, because there's so much cultism, and this started since way back 1999 by one of the old administration. Now, the former government, that's the first government from 1999, empowered Odili's government. Thank you. Empowered the people with what? Empowered the youth with what? With weapons. That was when cultism, not when cultism started in River State, but that was when cultism moved effectively from the universities to the streets.
Can I add allegedly? You say you empowered them with weapons.
Okay, I'll tell you. For election purposes, River State was notorious for having youths participate radically in politics, in electioneering process. So this was what was known from between 1999 and 2003. This was like a norm in River State. And now here we have a governor whom wants to celebrate somebody for his accomplishments. I see nothing wrong, because you say these artists have money. You could, as you put allegedly and everything, I think you should put allegedly there too, because you don't know exactly how much this artist gross. You don't know.
Even if they don't have money,
no, wait,
is it the rule of the government?
I'm coming. Yes. The state has
people?
a statutory ministry of tourism that is what's it called? That is vested with such responsibility. So if the governor came out to support this artist, which are all that happens to be youth too. Now he's taking these people from violence to entertainment. Though some of the old administrations only empowered violence. This one is empowering. Yes. Sorry, not empowered violence. Some of the old administrations, the first Odili's administration, gave arms to people. Allegedly gave arms to the people in River State.
So
the youth
if
in
you
River
don't
State.
give money,
I'm coming.
You are supporting
I'm not saying that. We used to have what they call Canny Reef, which started way back in say 2000 between 2007 and 2008. We had Canny Reef. That's the Carnival of River State. It was actually something we borrowed from Cross River State. This is entertainment. I'm giving my reasons why I support. I support, and I'm giving my reasons why I support.
Yeah.
So now you are trying to encourage tourism. You're trying to encourage entertainment by empowering these people with 10 million naira. If he doesn't each, yes, and it doesn't matter, because if he doesn't spend 10 million naira on entertainment, the money will still be spent some other way. Somebody will take it, and most definitely not through the right process.
So do you give a damn if he has paid his workers or teachers' salary or not?
I believe there's a commission for that. There is this. When the state's budget is being drawn out, there is money for money for tourism.
Budgeted.
It has to be budgeted.
So,
if he did it,
first
of all, you forget something.
Wike said here. Wait, let me take you aback, because Wike released a statement. So this is Wike's statement.
Go ahead and read.
He said, "Those of you who have come to play, whatever you have agreed with the Ministry of Culture and Tourism is not my business."
Okay.
So apparently, if the Ministry of Culture and Tourism have worked on their own budget based on what they had, because they didn't plan that Burna Boy was going to win any award, that they were going to do this kind of concert. He said, "This is not my business. All of you have come today, and the Niger Delta people that have come to play today to show the talent you have, I am very proud of you. All of you will go home with 10 million naira each. Aside from whatever the Ministry of Culture and Tourism in River State had set aside to pay these people."
Was the governor transparent?
I don't care.
He promised 10 million naira. He said it is
already
an issue today, because he came out and said he's giving 10 million naira. Other listen. No. As far as I'm concerned, the governor was transparent. He claimed he brought out the money, and we all saw it. He's giving it to them. He was transparent. Everybody saw this. If anybody has a problem with him, I think the state has a legislature. The state has an assembly. If they have a problem with what he did, if what he did is wrong, there is a statutory arm of government in the state that could take it up with him. And if they are not doing it, I don't think it is for people. It is for people from, peaceful areas, people who aren't promoting tourism and who don't see the need to promote tourism in other states, complain about the promotion of tourism in River State. There is no nightlife in River State. River State used to be known as the Garden City, for crying out loud.
Is this tourism?
This is tourism. What else could be tourism?
Yeah, but
entertainment is tourism. Is entertainment not tourism?
There are other ways to encourage these people than to spend money that we don't have.
Well, this
because
is a start.
we don't have money.
Well, this is a start.
Can I wait?
Because let me give you an example. Like in America, when you do idols, they get to a certain point in time, they have homecomings. Okay. I never hear that during these homecomings, the governors of the states are involved. Even if they're involved, the most they do is to name a street after them. Okay. Then they go to their schools where they grew up to encourage them there, to let them know this is where I've come to right now. I've won a Grammy. I schooled in this place to encourage you that you can do better, you can do whatever. But I don't see where the government, even America, that is a greater country than Nigeria, where the government is giving them cash money.
The examples you just gave are Idols, X Factor, and the rest of them. These are reality shows that are being organized by private individuals. Now, this particular concert was being organized by the state government.
The Grammy Award was not organized by the state government. What's the business of the state government with the Grammy Award?
Just like you have sports, you have entertainment. If Nigerian sportsmen go outside and accomplish things, the presidency gives them houses. We've seen this happen over and over in Nigeria. They give them things, they give them awards. Now, this is a state trying to honor, trying to celebrate someone who comes from the states and someone who comes from one of the most troubled local government. Burna Boy comes from Ahoda, a place I've been to, a place where the governor's wife comes from and still has one of the worst records. Ahoda is just about how many kilometers from Omok. Omok, Ahoda, these are two local governments that are about the most troubled local governments in River State. Burna Boy comes from there. He, as a person with his accomplishment, encourages the people from that place. And you said the state government has chosen to celebrate them, and it's wrong because he's giving out 10 million naira to youth that are from River State, that live in River State, and money that will still circulate within the states.
But
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Used to pay teachers.
Now there is education. See, there is state education as a separate thing.
Please maintain
there is. Listen.
The same statement to the teachers. To tell them, I don't care what the Ministry of Education or whatever has for you guys.
See,
I am giving you.
You know the thing. You know what you're doing right now. You are comparing. You're comparing a particular ministry in the states to another ministry. Now, if you're talking about tourism, focus on tourism. If the governor hasn't paid teachers, it is completely wrong. And teachers will have to take it up with the National Assembly and with all the bodies that are concerned.
Henry Oqua, react to this, because me, I don't agree.
$20,000.
I don't agree.
$20,000 for performing. I don't think there's any artist that makes 10 million naira in one performance. But that's not the main issue.
Well, you should confirm, because you're completely wrong with that.
You say it doesn't think.
What we are fighting is entrenched poverty mentality. And I say this because when people gather themselves and go to a politician's house, they get thank you for coming. When journalists go to an event to cover a show, they get brown envelopes, thank you for coming.
Allegedly, not all governors do.
Allegedly.
When artists go out and win awards for themselves, by themselves, they come back and they get thank you for
Big
coming.
Brother participants and winners.
Everybody that they are, and the funny thing is that what you're getting is personal. I heard Houston try to play it as tourism and stuff for River State, but it doesn't work like that. If we are being realistic, it doesn't work like that. Now, Wike belongs to a group of politicians that the earlier we do away with them, the better we are. We want politicians who understand the knock-on effect of particular actions. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, if you wanted to stimulate growth in River State, if you're trying to inspire the young ones to be like them, set up a music school. Use that money to set up a music school in River State. Encourage them. Go and get your drums, go and get your guitar, whatever it is that you can play. Come and play it here, come and learn it. But we are not thinking like that. We don't have leaders like that. Now, Wike belongs to the same political party as I do. And before this administration, this current one that is from the other party came on board, we could tell that what Wike did is a very PDP thing. PDP likes to do that kind of thing. Now, Buhari came in with his akagom and what, and he doesn't have that kind of. People don't even go to the villa again to say, God, see this is. You understand what I'm saying?
Thing, though.
It's a good thing in one regard. If it was that the money, the presidency saving that money and using it for other things would celebrate. But on this case,
We don't even know what he's
the
doing.
presidency not doing it
Yeah.
and Wike doing it puts them even on the same level. You get, but this is the kind of thinking that we should break away from as quickly as possible. As young Nigerians, there's nothing we will gain from getting free money from these people. There's nothing we will gain. We will not develop in any way. We may be able to afford a few things for ourselves, but the whole idea of creating wealth, sir, is grounded in hard work, is grounded in knowledge, understanding, practice, and all of that. Giving me $10 million, $20,000 is not going to help me get out of poverty. And the people that you have given do not necessarily need it. They do not need it. You have not told them that, no, this is your stake in so and so project that government is doing. This is what I want you to do. This is how you can inspire these people. No, you're saying throw money at it. That's what we do with all our problems, isn't it?
I mean, my own argument, though, I feel like if you are governing a state that you have not sorted out all the problems, there's no free money. I don't believe that there's free money.
Okay.
There's no extra money.
Okay,
there are things to do in the state.
Was this money?
There are things to. There's health sector that is suffering badly. There are roads, villages, and still in that place that need to be developed. People still need free education.
Was all of these problems? All of these problems are there. All of these problems. Yes, they're there. Now I'm asking a question. You call it. There's something I have a problem with.
Yeah.
You guys say free money, free money, free money. Did these people perform before they got paid, or did they get paid before they performed? Before they performed.
This was not their fee. Did you hear?
See, no. Listen. There's something.
This was different.
Calm down. There's something you do.
Yeah.
There's something you guys have been saying that's completely wrong. You say free money, free money, free money. See, he said, I don't think there's an artist that's been paid $20,000.
That's not an issue here.
See,
Yeah.
Chris Brown said for a feature he gets $2,000.
Brown.
I'm coming. Make your research before you make your research. Calm down. Listen now, calm down. Make your research and find out how much whiskey takes for a show. How much whiskey takes for a feature.
Come on, man.
People take as much as 50K for a verse. This is entertainment.
This
is entertainment.
Coming out on his own to just say I'm giving you guys.
Secondly, he's saying these people do not necessarily need it. My brother, would you get 10 million naira right now and say you don't need it? Who told you they don't need it? There's a saying that says there's a saying that anything money cannot solve, more money can solve it. See, people have this mentality. I might not necessarily have this mentality. They might have this mentality. You can't judge them. You're not in their accounts, please.
Can we move on to our next topic now?
Very well, you can move on to this.
So on Thursday, reports emerged that the whereabouts of a former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, was unknown. That's in the early hours of Thursday. After gunmen attacked him and killed some members of his security detail, the incident reportedly happened at his hometown in Anambra State. Yep. An eyewitness disclosed after the attack, and I quote, he said 3 policemen were shot dead at the meeting. So there was a meeting, and the media aide of Professor Soludo also reacted, saying, I cannot confirm the whereabouts of Professor Soludo. Let me add that in the evening yesterday, on Thursday evening, Soludo released a statement, so we can confirm his whereabouts right now. Yeah, because today is Friday. But I'm looking at it from the point, we talked about insecurity last week. We're talking about the attack on the governor of Benue State. And coming to this week as well, we have an attack on a former CBN governor who is running for the governorship election in Anambra State. Mm-hmm. And during the attack, 3 policemen were killed that attached to him. The police actually said something. I don't know if I have what the police said. Yeah, the police released a statement. I found this very funny. The Anambra State Police Public Relations Officer said this: the incident happened, but I am still gathering information about the incident. They're always still gathering. And the police has not given any update as to what happened till now. So this is another broad daylight meeting. Police were overpowered because policemen were killed. They're supposed to be protecting this man. Even if he doesn't even have any protection. How could he be attacked in broad daylight again? And 3 people killed successfully. And this man had to go into hiding because he did not know what was happening until he came out yesterday evening and released a statement and narrated what happened. What's wrong with our law enforcement agency? What are we doing? Why is the insecurity getting so bad by the day? Why people can come out? These guys have not been caught. They're still on the loose. You know? Please react to this, Mr. Houston.
Okay, before I react to this, I want to ask you, why is Soludo's issue why are you particular about Soludo?
I'm not particular about this, but this happened. It's a prominent figure. This was a national
I like what you
discourse.
just said now.
Yeah.
I'll quote you that. It's a prominent figure. Now, let me tell you what happened last week. Oqua attacked Yobe community on Monday, 22nd March. Police officer got shot during the Ekiti State by-election. Gunmen killed 2 staff of Federal Polytechnic Kaura and abducted 1 woman.
Yep.
What's it called? 25 people got killed in broad daylight,
Yes.
in Ebonyi State. A girl was found dead inside a gutter in Enugu. These are things that happen every day in this country.
We are just singling out this
For
one.
the first time, it is happening to Soludo. Some weeks ago, it happened to Governor Autumn. See, insecurity is enshrined right now, whether we like it or not, it's enshrined in this country. The law enforcement agents needs to get to work. I told you the other time that we're still giving them time. Something that has not happened in a very long time happened recently over the week. I don't know if you heard of it.
What's that?
The chief, what's it called? Heads of service. They had a meeting yesterday that ended yesterday at Cameroon with the Cameroon heads of service. So we don't really know what these people are working on. I still hold on to the fact that we've changed the heads of service in Nigeria right now. They've been here for barely a month plus or 2. They're going to 2 months.
Security chiefs, that's what you're talking about.
Yes,
Yeah,
the heads of service,
chiefs.
security chief. Yeah, so I think we should still give them time to figure out what direction, what
How
approach
much time? You
they
keep
take.
saying we should give them time.
You know what I'm saying we should give them
We're supposed
time.
to be dying while we're giving them time.
Are we supposed to be carrying out the same measures? They need to re-strategize, and I believe that's what they're doing at this point. We've done away with the old ones. What we have right now are people who are bent on, I wouldn't say bent on fighting terrorism and insecurity in Nigeria, but these are people who are bent on bringing new approach to fighting, to countering insecurity in Nigeria. So I've seen something that I was impressed with.
What?
When I got the topic yesterday, I was really pondering about it, but then I realized also that for the first time, I've seen the heads of service hold meetings with heads of service of other countries, of neighboring countries that are going through the same insecurity that we are going through. So we don't really know what they're driving, what results they're going to come with, but I think we should still give them time. But with regards to holding on to particular important people, then I think it happens to everybody.
I think we just bring this up to highlight that insecurity is still very paramount. We can't talk about all the killings that are going on, you know. Henry Kwa, what's your reaction to Soludo getting attacked in broad daylight?
I'm just going to try and build on my arguments from
And 3
past.
policemen killed and overpowered. I think that's even like these are security officers now.
I'm going
These are not civilians.
to build on my argument from past episodes. You know,
Okay.
we discussed the number of personnel that we have, whether they were enough or not. You know,
Tinubu talked on that as well. I think it was on your side.
please,
Go on.
We've just lost 3 Nigerian policemen.
Yes, very sad.
And most likely there were probably more than 3 in Soludo security detail. This is the election period. So if we are recruiting more people that cannot defend themselves or defend or protect people that they are supposed to protect, people who cannot do their jobs, basically. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, our focus, I like how Houston highlighted the fact that there have been other occurrences with respect to breaching security and whatnot across the country. We are getting to the point where we realize, as I've said before, that nobody is safe. We are getting to the point where we realize that let me not use will or may happen, but if anything happens to you in Nigeria, Sal, nobody can protect you. Nobody can get justice for you. That is the situation where we are today. Now, I mentioned Autumn. When we talked about Autumn, I was explaining that if you attack someone at that level, it means that everybody under him is fair game. Do you understand? Soludo is most likely going to be the next governor of Anambra State. They've already pegged him. They've already pinged him. Now we don't know we don't know who has done this. Do you understand? And the police in the state say they are still trying to know who has done it. So this tells you that the training that they need to be able to know these things, they don't have. The equipment that they need to be able to do these things, they don't have. So why do we need 50,000 or 50 million new security personnel? We don't need that many.
Wow. But what do you think needs to be done? What do you think the security agencies need to do to secure us as a people and make us feel safe? Because you keep saying it's getting to a point where we all have to protect ourselves. So and that's not what is supposed to be the case, because we have security operatives, we have security agencies.
With respect to security, it's like science. There's always a procedure. Yeah? The training is very, very important. Sensitization of the public as well, very, very important. How many of us know the emergency number to call if there's a problem right now? The three of us who are sitting here, do we know the emergency number to call?
Do we have?
We actually do have. You see, now, so if things are being done half-heartedly, if there's no sincerity of purpose from the leadership side, look, I don't believe that Nigeria's security challenges are so insurmountable. If there's sincerity of purpose, if you say, listen, I don't care what you think you're doing, I want this problem solved or halved in the next 3 months, and you mean it, you stay on your, if you give someone in your newspaper now work to do, you stay on their neck, they finish that work, they submit it, if it's not good enough, you take it back, you give it back to them. Where is that happening?
Probably we need a structure. And what's happened to intelligence gathering? Yeah, do we have an intelligence agency?
Yes, we do. That's the GSS. I think. So wow. I think I should just leave it here. I think I should just leave it here. Anyway, I want to sleep in my house tonight.
All right, let's move on to our next topic.
Yeah.
The Inspector General of Police, this is an interesting one. Mohammed Adamu on Wednesday commissioned the Nigeria Police Radio 99.1 FM. He described it as a legacy project and said, among other things, that this will help in bringing the police closer to the people. He revealed that the Nigeria Police radio station will also air phone-in programs to involve the citizens in the security of their localities, especially on ways to spot and report crimes and other necessary steps to take in event of a crime or security emergency. So I got this statement on Wednesday. I looked at it, I'm like, what are these guys trying to do? But looking at it very critically and being very objective, and looking at what the IG wrote in the statement, bringing this avenue where the people in the local communities can relate closer to the police. Wait now, you guys are laughing. Like, we have to look at it from a positive point of view still now. Because I've not heard about this in any country. So I don't know where they thought about this. Apparently he has a new team now and they're thinking about ways. These are efforts. Why are you guys laughing though? Yeah. So I tried. Imagine there's a radio station that you could call right now and talk to and let them know, okay, this is what is. Hey, Henry, you're laughing. Anyway, Mr. Houston, please, what do you think about this move right now? The IG creating this radio station to be closer to the people in communities where they can communicate with them in a bid to nip crime. Do you think this is a good move? Yeah.
If I would have said it was a welcome development, but then them saying it's as a bid to bring the police closer to the people over air, on air, we bring it on air.
In terms of we talked about intelligence gathering, right?
Intelligence gathering. We've had situations where the military said the military in Borno State at some point said the community people weren't giving information to them. They were not being cooperative. They were not cooperating. That's why these Boko Haram were coming. This was in 2014. This is why these people were coming in the way they were coming in and doing all that they wanted to do and everything. The people started to communicate with the military. Later, we started hearing that the military was
how were they communicating to them?
When they notice anybody from their place, like when you have somebody in your community in Borno State who isn't being, you can't tell his whereabouts. He started having some very funny demeanor. He's always going to places.
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't
like,
tell his
what was
parents.
the means of communication? Did they have like a radio, or was it phone calls? They had numbers.
In Maiduguri, they set up a few military bases. So they asked that the parents of, once you have grown-up kids, adult kids, and that stay with you, and they start acting differently, they start going on trips that you don't know anything about, they start being secretive and start acting radical, report them to the military. So the military will probably psychoanalyze them, know if these people are joining this sect and all that, because they have it on record that many of the youths in some places who couldn't withstand the pressure had to join the Boko Haram people.
Yeah.
So we had situations where information gathering has actually been useful and hasn't really been used. Like, it always ends up in, how do I put it? Like, it always ends up unsuccessful with fighting insecurity. Early in this administration, we had what's it called? We had the whistleblowing thing. We all know how that ended up. So if it's as a means to bring the police closer to the people, first of all, I think the police is close enough to the people.
You think so? In those local communities?
Oh, they all have police stations. What do you hear whenever it happens? They overpower the police people.
So you don't see anything positive about this move at all?
So I would have actually said it was a welcome development if the information that they will get on radio will be acted upon. But then I know we have several situations of when Nigerians have reported things to the police station, saying something over phone call to police on radio. Tell me, is it more effective than running to a police station and calling the policeman to come and help you? So I really would say it's supposed to have been a welcome development, but it is not going to help in this situation.
Hey, Oqua, you're just laughing.
The IGP should introduce me to his dealer.
It's not
I have a few questions here.
So you don't see, wait. I don't want us to just answer this thing like, because we don't, even if you don't like the government in power, let's look at this very critical.
That's what I want to try to do.
Is this going to do something at all? Is this going to do something?
No, it won't.
So you think this is a waste of money?
Yes. Let me ask my questions. We have 774 local governments in Nigeria. Will the Nigeria police establish a radio station in all of them?
I don't know how this is going to work.
Okay.
Because in some states, people already say they use 99.1 already in their
So
states.
where we are now, if you go to a police station and report a crime, this was why I was laughing. They'll say they don't have petrol.
Yeah,
What will happen? What will happen
Yeah.
when 12 or 13 people are? What will happen when so many people are reporting crimes at the same time?
Problem here. Do you think these people don't have good teams that are advising them? Because somebody actually brought up this advice.
I think they are dull. I think they are really, really dull. Do you get?
The people themselves,
our leadership, they're really dull. Because on our way here, we were discussing something, and one of the explanations that came up was that what you don't know, you can't recognize. Do you understand? If you are not aware of something, if you don't have knowledge about that thing, you will not be aware of that thing. So if you don't know that your thinking is stupid, you will not know people. You will not understand people's reaction to your thinking. So they're in this bubble where let's look for the next thing that will wow our Oga.
You actually think so?
That's the only way you can explain it. Because if you're coming up with a structure or a kind of intervention that's supposed to checkmate crime, how do you come up with radio stations, for the love of God? How do you settle for radio stations and announce it?
To educate the people there as to how to spot crimes?
No, sir, I don't think the people have a problem spotting crimes. I think the people don't have enough room to report the crime or have enough confidence in the people who are supposed to fight the crime to actually do their job. So we are in Abuja here. Think about the bandits that come to what do they call it? To communities in Niger, in Zamfara, in Katsina State, where there was a period in Kaduna or so where houses were being marked because they said so and so person spoke to the authorities. So what is the practicality of this? That you are in your house, you can hear the radio, you see that crime is happening, and then you carry your phone and you call because you are the only one that has the radio. But the bandits, where their team is, they don't have 99.1. They cannot reach 99.1. So only you will now report the crime to Nigerian police on radio.
Anyway, let's move on.
Let's be serious, I beg. Let's be serious.
Yeah. So the Senate Minority Leader, Senator Eyinaya Abaribe, on Wednesday, in an interview on Channels Television's Politics Today, said that nobody, including government officials and the service chiefs, takes President Muhammadu Buhari seriously. Sorry. He said, and I quote, I'm just going to read the whole quote, God. Why would we take him seriously? Referring to the president. Just the day after he had said we would no longer accept all these kidnappings, this would be the last they kidnapped the last day. I took note of that as well. And those people are still there, referring to the, I think the last kidnap in the 39 students in Kaduna
School of Forestry,
that are still in captivity. And those people are still there. Those innocent Nigerians are still in captivity up till now. He always makes a statement referring to the president. Every time these things happen, nothing happens. So it is obvious nobody takes him seriously with that. Even the military chiefs. I do not think they bother themselves. Wow. This is about the upton time that we are hearing the president giving a marching order. Throughout the Buratai time as a chief of army staff, he was always giving marching orders, so he has given just another one, referring to the security meeting the president held with the heads of security before he left the country. So Senator Abaribe is saying nobody takes President Muhammadu Buhari serious. That's a very deep statement.
It's true, no?
You think that's true?
Let me
cut it short. He said nobody, but we remember after the Lekki incident, and the president gave a speech, and all Nigerians
Frowned.
We didn't frown. We backed out. We went to sleep. There was no protest again. You don't remember that speech after the killing at Lekki?
I remember.
You know,
what
he
you're
delivered
talking
that
about.
speech, and there was no protest again. So we were scared. Me, I was scared. I felt defeated.
So we were not afraid of the president. We were
Well,
afraid of
we-
the boots and the guns.
Oh,
That's what we were afraid of,
speech
not the
and the
president.
protest.
So if you look at news headlines, or if you monitor Additional and Shehu, every time there's an occurrence like this, kidnappings or bandits killing and whatnot. Here, what they always say, the president is shocked. The only words that they've not used is what was the word? Thrilled. That's the only one I think they've not used.
Yeah, actually,
but the
when
reason
he made that statement and he said this is the last time, I actually believed it. I took it.
why would you
know?
believe it?
No, like I'm looking forward to positive things happening.
I'm sorry about that. Your optimism is probably misplaced. If somebody says I'll end Boko Haram in 6 months, and after 4 years, Boko Haram has not ended, and the person keeps talking that the Boko Haram is technically defeated, everybody can see everything that's going on, banditry, everything is getting worse, who would take you seriously? Who would?
So, but looking at what Mr. Houston was saying earlier, talking about the new security chiefs, where you were saying you want to give them time, you believe with the move that they made recently with the meeting with the security chiefs in Cameroon, you believe, because after this meeting, he gave them a marching order. He told them to get all the sponsors of Boko Haram and catch all the criminal elements in the country, So I believe they were taking action, but Senator Abaribe says nobody listens to the president. Henry Oqua is saying nobody's listening. So are these activities in futility?
When Senator Abaribe says, I've told you this before, I said this in one of my last speech or comments in the last episode. I said, when a politician is saying something, yes, you take it with a pinch of salt. Now, with things like this, we know...
He's our president, though.
No, I know.
Okay,
I'm
Abaribe.
talking of Abaribe on
okay.
this particular thing. If Abaribe is saying this, he's saying the right thing, but at the same time, there's a political undertone to it. And I'll tell you now, I'll break it down for you now. Why I said he's saying the right thing is, for you to say that nobody takes the president seriously, it's not so far-fetched. Severally, the president, like Henry Oqua said, the president has said so many things. Like, not so many things, he said so many words that we know of, like, I am dissatisfied, I mourn with these people, I commiserate with these people, I'm shocked at this happening. These are not axy statements. We know, we've heard this over and over and over. So, sometime in 2018, I remember when a minister in the president's cabinet came out and said the president does not even read the papers. He really doesn't care. This was Amici, the Minister of Transport, said this.
Yeah.
And we have this on record that he said this. So, if somebody that close to the president can say the president doesn't read papers, obviously, I mean, how else do you take the president seriously? So Abaribe wouldn't be entirely wrong to say the president nobody takes him seriously, because clearly we've tried him in the past and we've not really seen that action. Now with this marching order that the president said he's given, or they said the president has given, I think people will take him more seriously if he comes back and ask for results and not drafted reports. He comes back and says, what have you acted on? Let me see this thing. Then people will take him seriously. Now, why I said,
do you think people will still take him seriously if he does that now and not believe that this is just the eye service? If he has not done that for 5 to 6 years.
Now, if he starts doing that, not just coming to do bond and letting go, if he comes and does that and it becomes a part of him, you give marching orders, you implement it, you make sure these things are working, then we might start taking him seriously. Now, with Senator Abaribe, he's of course from the opposition, and he will definitely say anything to.
Yeah, I don't just want us every time to take it to a political angle.
I want to Henry.
So there's this, when it's coming from a politician.
Yeah, but when the politician says something, we can look at it as political, but we can still look and see what he's saying. Is this true?
That's why I said I will take it with a pinch of salt. Now listen, there is. I don't trust politicians. I don't think you trust politicians. We know politicians. So a politician will come out and say what people will say to get favor. We know that.
Yeah, but we can still look at what's been happening and say, is what he's saying true or not? Because we're still living in the country.
If we use Houston's metrics now, what Lawan said about having too few personnel can also be looked at politically.
We can be looking at
Ndume. Yeah. Now we need to realize that this is an administration that has suppressed any form of criticism from any. Do you remember the Jonathan years? Do you remember how there were so many critics across board in almost every office, even in government offices? Do you remember? Today, you do not have lawmakers that can openly openly criticize government policies or government actions. What Abaribe is doing and what he has been doing for a period of time is standing up to speak up against the bully and against the bad governance that we're suffering in this country. Whether Abaribe is from ABGA, whether it's from APC, wherever he is, we are counting him as one of the people who has had the courage, even in this time
to
where
what is actually even on
exactly
our mind. Because we have the president, we don't really see him exercising his authority as
the
president.
The villa has become retirement home. That's what is happening. That's the reason why Nigeria is the way it is. Somebody is retiring, and he's retiring at our own expense. He's retiring with taxpayers' money and doing just what he wants to do. There's no government.
You know why you wouldn't compare Abaribe's comments with Ali Ndume? Ali Ndume comes from Yobe State or Borno State, one of these states. He comes from Borno State.
It matter.
No, it matters. It matters. One senator has visited his place regularly and will probably be there this weekend. The other senator has not gone home because he doesn't have a home to go to.
Change whatever he said.
I am only saying no. I am saying
to look at who
listen. I did not. I wasn't dismissive about what Abaribe said. But if you can calm down and listen or revert back to what I said. I said Abaribe made a comment that we can all relate to. But why I would take it with a pinch of salt is it is not coming from someone from the civil society, it is coming from a politician. These are politicians that we've tried. See, I don't trust politicians at all on any level. Senate, anything, any level. Do you understand what I'm saying? But why I can understand what Alin Dume said. Alin Dume comes from Borno State. This man doesn't have a home anymore.
No, we're not even talking about Alin.
So that's why, no, he mentioned Alin Dume, and I need to clarify that.
No, you don't need to clarify
I
anything.
need to clarify that.
You don't need to clarify anything that I've said if you do not understand the crux of what I am saying. This is a government that you cannot criticize. That's what I'm saying. Anybody who we have to stand, raise a banner and say, listen, you are doing so and so thing wrong. You are doing so and so thing wrong.
I think everything needs to be political.
It's not political.
Because me, in
it's
my
not
house,
political.
sitting down and looking at the way the country is run,
You can see.
He say that nobody takes him seriously.
Exactly.
His officials don't take him seriously because as a leader of an organization, as a leader of your company, you will know when your people, when you give instructions, you make sure instructions are wrong.
I just wish that came from someone else.
This is a clear example.
Why does it matter who it comes
So
from?
it matters.
This is a clear example.
Dino Milai has been talking. What was his statement the last time about Dino Milai?
I don't care what Dino
Thank
Milai
you.
said.
You don't care. Because it's part of the reasons, part of the crux of
If we
our
are-
problem.
He was that was a personal thing. He was apologizing, it's personal or whatever. He didn't come and say something different. I think it's part of the bad whatever that's come out from Africa, in my opinion. That's what I was saying. Anyway, let's move on. So on Tuesday, President Buhari abandoned the poor medical infrastructure in Nigeria for the best medical services in London, United Kingdom. He's due to be back in the country in the second week of April, according to a statement from the presidency. So there are two, I broke this into two. So the first part I would like you guys to react to right now. Since Buhari came into power, we have been used to him. This is the president, this is the leader, the one who leads us for us to follow. We talk about leadership by example. So when we have the head of state, the number one citizen in the country, moving a certain way, setting a precedent that is supposed to be bad, then I think there's a problem. I don't have problem with him I don't have problem with him having medical checkup. So the question, the health of the president right now is not in question in this discourse to me, but I'm like, why is he still traveling abroad for medical checkup? And they could not hide this one. The president had to abandon Nigeria to go to London for the best medical care. Why could he not use the Aso Rock Hospital even? So that's to tell me as a reasonable smart man that Aso Rock Clinic cannot provide good enough medical service for the president. That's a problem for me. And we're just coming off, we're in a pandemic still. We all were here last year when we had to lock down. I was looking to see, I was even happy at some point. I was happy that, this will make the government move, develop the health sector, build hospitals, because all of us are scared at this point in time. There's a virus that does not know class, does not know riches, does not know poverty. So I was really expectant and excited that we have great hospitals in Nigeria right now that these politicians cannot move. So if they could not move on a normal day, now they will be compelled to move because of their own health and the health of their families. But this 1 year after, no hospital was built, nothing was restructured, no medical great services for what standard were provided. I don't know why. Why is the president still going to London for medical checkup?
I don't even know how to approach this, but I'll still bring it back to him that it's an indictment on himself and what he stands for.
Because it's a government that was preaching made in Nigeria, patronized by made in Nigeria. By made in Nigeria should include the health sector.
So it's even beyond that. In part of Buhari's campaign, he mentioned that he would restrict travel of government
from
officials
getting medical service
from medical tourism, and he has been the biggest beneficiary of it. So some years ago, I think 2 years or so ago, the first lady and her daughter Zara Buhari complained about that clinic in the villa. You understand what I'm saying? Now, what this shows you is that I'm still going to link this to whether the president is taken seriously or not. The first family complained about the clinic they're supposed to serve them. And years later, that clinic is still not good to serve any of them. Now, the president, based on his integrity or whatever, Can he tell us how much government taxpayers' money has been spent on his medical tourism? I think about 7 or so since he came in. What am I saying? 7? More than 7 since he came into office. The reason why we are suffering whatever it is that we are suffering with respect to our health sector strikes. Yeah, I saw somebody that was on Twitter. Some guy was saying he took his wife and his wife and his neighbor's wife went into labor at the same time. Yeah, in the course of the day yesterday, and then he rushed them to the hospital, only to find out that doctors are on strike. They had to go to a private hospital and they paid through their nostrils. Now, the problem with the health sector in Nigeria is not just that welfare is poor. We do not have infrastructure either. We do not have equipment.
But why? There's a budget.
It's the absence of leadership. No, it is the absence of leadership, sir. See, for things to actually change in a country like Nigeria, there are rules already. There's a structure already. There's a civil service, the bureaucracy, and everything is there. So it is the willpower of the leader that actually pulls that project from conception through the system for it to materialize. If you know that you can afford the best healthcare abroad, free of charge, what's your business with going to build hospital? That's what's happening with Buhari.
So what do you think can be done to stop this?
It's just to get rid of this set of leaders. It is just to get rid of them. Like,
so you don't think they need to pass any law?
No, it's not about. See,
because sometimes as human beings, I feel you need to compel us to do the right thing.
No, it's not about the law. We just saw the CCT's chairman break the law and assault another person. It's not, Nigeria's problem is not law. It is about the people. It's about our mentality. We are on the road. There's a traffic light. They tell us to stop. We believe that we can keep driving. It is these little things. These are the things that we need a paradigm shift. We need as a people to realize that our mumu don't do. Do you understand? And for our mumu to do, we need to change the caliber of people that we pick from among us to represent us.
Wow. Mr. Houston, do you want to react to the president still ignoring the medical system he has put in place in Nigeria or left in Nigeria and going for the best one abroad? Why can he not give us the best here that he can patronize?
Well, the problem is there. I think we've all seen the problem. My own problem is not even the medical traveling part. My problem is him traveling and not handing over power to the vice president. That's my only problem. So, I mean, one of his ministers came out yesterday and said there was nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's another.
That's another thing. But that's what really pains me. But with regards to him traveling, well, I think we just have to, as a people, we need to observe. We need to know the kind of people we vote into place. Because I didn't vote for this presidency, so I really do not have much with regards to some of the things he's doing to say, because the truth is I never believed in any of these things. He was going to stop people from traveling. He was going to help the health sector from the very beginning. I never believed in any of this, because I don't think somebody grows up to learn how to use left. You have to use left from birth. So this is somebody who has been a president before, and I mean, we've tested him in this country before I was even born, and I didn't hear about him fixing the health sector in that time. So I didn't think he was going to now do it now. So I never believed
even
in
despite the pandemic.
So he doesn't surprise me, neither does it shock me. So it's for people who really believe so much in him. For me, I mean, it's just
what do you think?
I just have to hope for whoever comes next.
What do you think can be done to stop this kind of
this particular administration? I think on the health sector part, I think it is incorrigible, because people have been crying since the first term in office. Since his first term in office, this is the second term in office. People have been crying. So with regards to health, I think the government is incorrigible. The government wouldn't take any of our advice, wouldn't take any of our.
So we should just give up. No hope.
I honestly am somebody who loves to share, who loves to sell hope to the people, because that's the only thing the common man can actually live on. But then with this, to be very honest, I don't think there's really much we can do. We just need to work on who else we're going to vote in next with regards to health.
Wow.
Houston is right. Nobody's coming to save us.
Wow.
We have to save ourselves.
So anyway, so the president received a lot of backlash, when his medical routine trip was to London was announced, with many focusing on the fact that he was traveling just after the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors had threatened to go on a nationwide strike, citing very poor welfare by the federal government, despite the pandemic. the doctors were still receiving very bad welfare and they were threatening to strike. So there was a lot of chaos on the social media. So on Wednesday night, there was a meeting by the doctors and the federal government, which obviously could not stop the strike from going on because they're on strike right now. The doctors are on strike. So the doctors released a statement on Thursday. So I'm just going to read that. It says, Nigerians must understand that we love them and the strike is not intended to hurt them, but to challenge the Nigerian government, the Act Buhari, the Federal Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Labor and Employment, whose responsibilities, among others, is to care for her citizens and labor force to do the needful. So they said they're going on strike right now. First of all, they were in a meeting with the federal government. So for that meeting not to have ended well, that means the government was not ready to give the doctors whatever they were asking for in terms of their welfare, maybe their pay and all those. So they said they're going on strike right now to challenge the government to do the right thing. Are we now in a place where we have to go? These bodies who have seen us go on strike for many long months and students were home, and it took a lot for the government to even bend. And right now, I don't know if they paid them all they were asking for. And we're looking at the health sector and we're talking about pandemic that we're going through right now. Doctors are asking for basic things, which I think you can give them. Give them better welfare. You go to some of these hospitals, they are a write-off. You're very in touch with the primary health care. I have seen one in Abuja here in Garki. I'm like, who is going to come here? I don't believe poor people should go there.
They try not to.
Yeah, so what do you think about the doctors? I don't care about the president traveling when they announced to go. That's already bad. Him going already is bad for me. But why do you think the federal government right now is not even paying attention to the demands of the doctors, that they have to go on strike at this point in time and they are still on strike and nothing is being done to stop these people from going on strike?
So are you familiar with the term untouchables?
Yeah, who is untouchables here?
The government and its officials are the untouchables. Now, you see, I mentioned, I think in our first episode, that the government exists at the benevolence of the people. Yeah? However, we have a group of leaders in office today who do not give two cockroach farts about us. They do not. So they are enjoying their best life at our expense, and they have nothing, they have no apology to make. Is this not the same Nigeria that a minister of health said that doctors should go and learn a trade or something, tailoring or something, that they should go and do that? Now, when you have leaders who believe that they are untouchable, they make certain kinds of statements, they take certain kinds of actions, sir. In a pandemic where you know that your medical sector is already understaffed, where you know that your doctors are living on a daily basis in tens of thousands, they are leaving the country. The moment they finish from medical school, they're taking their exams to get out of this country. You know that is what is happening, and the ones who are there, you don't want to pay them their salaries. So when you do that, you know that it is that man on the street that will not be able to get medical attention. You are explaining to that man on the street that you don't care about him. Those are the kind of leaders that we have. The ones that will watch you die. Those are the kind of leaders that we have. That's what this is all about. Wow. Because how will Labor and Ministry of Health explain to me that your resident doctors who are, now we have other medical health workers, we have nurses, we have attendants, we have the technicians in the labs and whatnot. The doctors are the, how do I put it now? They're the pillar that holds that system together. Do you understand? It's like being in a factory. You understand? The designer, the person who's responsible for designing that product, is supposed to be there at all times. So now you have nurses, administering care to the best of their ability. So we are not bothered about life saving. If it comes down to it, if there's a surgery now in a primary healthcare center or in any of these hospitals, Nigerian healthcare system cannot execute it. They can't execute it. So what really are we dealing with? We have leaders who believe that they are doing us a favor I think this is the biggest lesson that we should learn from this administration, that never again should we elect leaders that feel like they are doing us a favor.
But are Nigerians going to hear this? You know?
No, they don't.
What needs to happen for us to understand what's going on? Because
This
even
is
this
the same
move
question.
for a government to show you that we don't care about your health.
This was the same question I was
Yeah.
asking last week, if you remember. I was asking, how far do you have to stretch the Nigerian people? How elastic are we really? How many things can we really take? Because, sir, if you go on the street and you try to oppress another person, you will see that Nigerian fight back. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You will see Nigerians tell you, no, you cannot tell me that. So where is the problem? Why can't we turn that anger, that dissatisfaction to the right quarters? What is wrong?
Mr. Houston, do you see any problem with the federal government just allowing the doctors go on strike and not giving a damn? Because practically to me, they don't care.
Well, like I said, right now with this government, the only thing I try to encourage is security. They should at least secure us. If you can't give us food, if you can't give us health, at least try and secure us. At least don't kill us on top of that. So with regards to the health workers going on strike, that's the only way they can speak. That's the only way they can externalize their grievance. So I have no problem with the health workers protesting. If that is their own way, even if it's at the expense of other people's lives, that's their own way, because they're humans as well. Their lives too. So they need what they need. So with the government, honestly speaking, I don't think I can start admonishing this government. I don't think I can start encouraging them with everything. The only one I'm begging for is security. That's the only one I know. So I don't know. I don't know how to encourage them. I don't know.
Anyway, we have come to the end of today's episode. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next week. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page 36 TV on YouTube. Subscribe, like this video, and share this video. So we'll see you guys next week.
Easter, by the
Thank
way.
you. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.